here we go. Life is a blast when you know what you're doing. Best to know what you're doing for your life get ruined. Life is a thrill when your skill is developed. If you ain't got a skill or trade, then shut the hell up.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps, episode 11, and it's Monday, so you better wake your ass up. And on today's show, we're gonna show you and tell you 5 things you must do if you really want to make it. And joining John and myself is NBC's star on The Biggest Loser, Jen Widerstrom, which is amazing. You know, it's Business and Biceps, having a star in the fitness on TV joining us today. Obviously, it's brought to you by State and Liberty, MaxEffortMuscle.com, and of course, Reebok. You better be more human. And I can't tell you how excited I am about today's guest because you can see her on TV. She's killing it, and she's here to share just some great nuggets with us. Correct, John? What do you got going, John?
Hey, man, listen, so Jen, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Widerstrom, right? She, in our pre-interview meetings and discussions, was such like a just down-to-earth, true, real person with a fantastic soul. So I can't wait to get into it. Not only on fitness stuff, Cory, but like the journey that she had to take to get to where she is. That's what really interests me. So having a guest like her, who's, you know, by everyone's definitions, has made it, right? She's on TV. Absolutely. She's on The Biggest Loser. She took Jillian Michaels' spot. Like, I want to know about the journey, brother. That's what I want to hear about. How about you?
Well, and yeah, you know what's cool, John, is, and we've done this for the last, 3 or 4 episodes, is the way we've got it set up is that we're leading you through the process. And John and I, you know, we're gonna weigh in at the same too, like on our processes, and like you can learn so much by having like a real round table with somebody that's hit it out of the park. So I can't wait to get her on the show, and just like the stuff that she was dropping to us off air was just killer.
She's
and
real.
So that's
real.
Oh, she's real. And to let you guys know that just like everybody else, you got to put that work in for like a decade, and we're just gonna let you know a little bit more about that. So I think if you're out there and you're grinding, you're listening to Business and Biceps, just keep working, everybody. Just keep working.
Cory, I want to say one thing about putting that work in, right? When
Yes.
you're putting that work in, right? When you're putting it in, it's grueling, it's bloody, you're crying. Guess what you're wearing? You're wearing Reebok, right? That's what you're wearing when you're putting the work in. Now, after you put the work in and you celebrate a little bit, you go have a beer with some friends, man, you go over to stateandliberty.com, you pick up some smooth gear, and you look sharp. You know, my dad uses the term sharp, and I make fun of him because he's 70. But you look sharp, okay? And then after that, when you need to refuel to do it all over again, you just go to Max Effort Muscle, bro. So, like, that is like the formula, Cory.
It is the formula. It's legit the formula. And you know, one more thing I got to add to this intro before we hit some kind of quick hitter things that are in the media is, John, the podcast can't be stopped.
Cory, the podcast can't be with this, dude. Don't tell. Do you want it? Do you fucking want it?
Come on, John. I'm like Hulkamania. I got my hand in my ear. What do you got, John?
3, 2, 1. The podcast can't be stopped.
I bet your neighbors love this.
Fucking gonna call the cops and fucking open fire.
Oh, I think it's amazing. So, all right. So I'm going to start off with what's going on and give you an update. Obviously, you're my business partner. You already know these updates, but I'm going to tell everybody else. So it's not updating you. People get the wrong idea. Oh, Cory, glad you're telling John about the business on the podcast. So, look, the shrink labels came in for the supplements guys. I know you saw them on social media. And I'm going to tell you, they're fucking bad. Like, they are bad. Like, when they came to my door, I was opening it up, like, faster than a 9-year-old on Christmas Eve, like, or Christmas Day. And I'm texting all the partners, you know, Dust and Travis.
You got me on speakerphone. I'm like, dude, tell me what it looks like.
Like, I'm a FaceTime you, John. And so, I mean, it's like, so look, I spend a lot of time, as you guys know, that I'm the exercise guy, right? I spend a lot of time on the application, the mixability, the quality. Like I done killed the formulas with our team a while ago. Now we're working on the brand part, and when these things come in and we're getting ready to go to pre-sale, we're like days away from pre-sale, and the experience of content that we're bringing on the back end that I'm working on with John right now and our team, I'm going to tell you what, guys, there's honestly no one that's doing these things the way that we're going to operate. And so we're really excited. And I can tell you wholeheartedly that we're building it exactly how all of us have agreed, and the value that we're going to add, and just a really good product experience and a brand that cares. And so maxeffortmuscle.com is going to be a force to be reckoned with, but we're going to do all good things. So it's just going to happen naturally and organically, and we're pumped about it. So that's kind of the update on the supplement.
Is like, your posts get a lot of play. My posts with Max Effort Muscle, our partners' posts have been getting play. And I want to thank everybody, because normally when you bring out something that looks different and is different and is unique, it's met with skepticism, right? And I can't thank you guys enough. It's been all positive, Cor. Everybody has only said the most positive stuff, and it just makes me feel good, because, we both know how hard we've been working on something, and to finally be able to touch something and get it ready to give to you guys, we know it's quality. We know it looks the best. We know the experience is going to be the best, and we just can't wait for you guys to share it. But we want to say thank you. Thank you for receiving it the way you have thus far.
Yeah, I've had a lot of questions to answer because of people that didn't know what's happened and business-wise, and me switching over. I've been gone for MusclePharm almost a whole year, reinventing, doing a new brand. So it's been a good kind of transition for me to start talking about that kind of stuff a little bit more on social. The positivity's been there. Everybody's like, yeah, G, I got you. We're supporting you. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. It's been great, and I can't tell you enough that the way that we worked on this brand, how fun it was, and to bring it out and to get that positivity feedback. And look, to introduce our boy Max, that's our Mr. Clean, Max Effort. And so, there'll be some storylines on what Max means to us. Each partner will weigh in on that soon. And I think you guys will really even connect the dots more once we get a chance to. It's not just a graphic. There's some real meaning to each and every one of us of why he's there on the bottom, what he represents. I think you guys will really enjoy that. It's a little deeper than probably what people think.
He's going to represent people's grandfathers and people's uncles. And,
absolutely, and hard work. So it's cool. So, all right, John, so there's a couple quick hitter things I want to go over with you in the media, I think, that you can weigh in on, and then, we'll kind of roll from there. And so the big thing is I didn't see it real time. Somebody snapped me about it. What's your thoughts on just the whole Kaepernick debacle, if that's what you call it? Is it equivalent to an Ali type of thing back in the day, which, a lot of people – I honestly think a lot of people just kind of forgot that Ali was this controversial. You see all the boxing stuff. When I watched an actual documentary, people hated Muhammad Ali in this country.
Hated.
I don't, my grandpa did liked him as a boxer, but as a war vet, he didn't have a lot of good things to say about Muhammad Ali. It wasn't even on a racist tip. He was just he just didn't agree with any of that stuff, right? So it's one of those things where, is Kaepernick, is this the same type of deal?
No, because he is not, and this is my opinion. I'll make that very clear. John Fosco's opinion, not the opinion of the show, not the opinion of Cory. He is not going hard on the military tip. What he's going hard on is the fact that the police in this country, at least, are being shown in the media, okay, because that's all we know. We don't know it. We don't know the sample size, but what we do know is what we're shown. They are being shown in the media to be assassinating at an abnormally high rate African-American individuals. Now, that's what he sees, Colin Kaepernick, and that's what, to my understanding, he's protesting against. Now, here's the only thing I can really say on it, Cory. It takes a lot of courage to take a stand against an institution, a country, a fan base. Am I saying I agree with Colin Kaepernick? I am not saying that. Am I saying I disagree with Colin Kaepernick? I'm not saying that. My opinion does not matter. But what I am saying is you have to give the man respect for having the courage to stand up for his beliefs. Our country was founded on people who stood up for their beliefs. Right or wrong, they stood up for their beliefs. So your opinion on Colin Kaepernick is yours, and I respect it, however you look at him. But all I'm saying is to basically, quote unquote, rage against the machine, and the machine is the NFL and is kind of the status quo. To do that, it takes some balls. So for that, I got to give him a little bit of respect.
Yeah, it takes some serious balls because this dude is on blast like I ain't never seen anybody in a minute.
People are burning his jerseys. They're burning his jerseys in San Fran.
Yeah. No. I mean, and look, that's why we and John have talked about this stuff off air. Like, I stay away from stuff like this historically just because you're almost never, you can't be all the way right because there's just it's just like politics, religion. It just is what it is. But I think that was a great way to kind of weigh in on it, and it's something we just had to, I think, talk about. So,
I agree.
So, it'll be interesting. I guess it's to be continued. Where's it kind of go with for him and his career and what happens? So
let's see how far he pushes it, right? Because he sat down. Let's see if he does it next game, and the game after, and the game after. I personally am going to say I have to respect someone who is willing to take on essentially the world. Like, I just have to respect that. Now, I don't have to agree with it, but I got to respect it. It's a tricky one, man. So I got to give it up to him for that, but we'll see what happens. Lastly, John, we both got sent just a crazy article that I know hits home for you about prescription drugs being allowed to, like, kids my son's age, which is absurd. So weigh in on that real quick for us. Yeah, guys, this one's hard for me to even. It's hard for me to talk about. In Newsweek, they ran a big article about how I don't know what the appropriate name is, but some medical doctors association has deemed it nationally appropriate to prescribe high-dosage Oxycontin to children. And when I say children, I mean 11 and under. And this quote isn't exact, but the gist of the quote from the woman who was speaking on their behalf went a little something like this. If these children listen to their doctors and they take this medication appropriately, there should be no problems. And there's no secrets as to my position here. I am outraged. I am going to write a letter to this woman personally. I'm going to write an email to her. I think this is what happens, guys, when money becomes a bigger deal and higher on the priority list than human beings. Because we are now saying, for the benefit of public drug companies that they profit on the black market sale of these obscenely addictive drugs that have created a tsunami of death. They are saying, let's start giving them to younger fucking kids. Like, if somebody gave my child that, I'm not even going to fucking say what I'd physically do to them. Like, I'll just openly say it. Like, if a doctor gave my kid fucking Oxycontin, which is fucking heroin, I will not even say what I would do to that man. I won't even fucking say it. So this is the kind of shit, guys, that when you see this, okay, I believe it was in Newsweek, write a goddamn email. You know what I'm saying? Like no one man can win this fight. Like this is a battle our country's facing, but everyone's scared to talk about it. This is a battle that's going on in your backyard that you're scared to look at. This is a battle that's going on your high school football field that you don't fucking know about, okay? Like, you gotta fight back because we are fighting the almighty dollar and we're fucking getting our ass kicked, and our children and our fucking families and our fucking friends are dying at the expense of profits. So, that's my fucking call.
I mean, being a guy who's got kids in that age range that they're like, there's just absolutely no way. And I actually, honestly, John, way before, this even came to mind, I mean, I've never been a fan of those pills. I can tell you, I might have taken a Vicodin once in my life from some type of dental procedure or something, that I had heard. But it's one of those things where, like, I avoided probably prescriptions on them probably 4 or 5 times, and really just because I hated the way it made me feel. And I'm a person that likes to control the way my body feels, and so there was absolutely no way I would ever let my kids take those things regardless. Now knowing the real effects of them, I mean, no fucking way. And the fact that it's almost like the fact that you're now going to exploit kids for more money is just sad. And so, the little bit of awareness we can bring to it is huge because, I mean, most parents just say because the doctor gives it to them, it's okay. So it's once again, it's another hard subject, but I mean, I'm glad we can bring some awareness to it. And I agree. I wouldn't let my kids anywhere close to it, man. No fucking way.
Oh my God. And
so bad.
What we have to remember is it's not just the prescription drug. The prescription drug is so expensive. The problem is because the drug cartels are losing out on the marijuana money because of legalization, they are infiltrating our suburbs with cheap heroin. So when you cannot afford pills anymore, that's where you go. And luckily, my God, I think Kimmy might be butting in, Cory, because I think we need a break on this motherfucking issue. Kimmy, are you butting in again?
We do.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm butting in again.
What's up, Kimmy? How we doing?
We could use you right now. Thank you.
Yeah, let's lighten it up, Kimmy. Let me see what you got.
Well, I'm really curious to get your guys' input on a couple more things, not just for my benefit, but for the other females that may be listening that may be thinking about starting their own business. Cory, my first question goes to you. One of your strengths was marketing your personal brand through social media, which is huge right now, has a huge impact on people, especially in the fitness industry. So my question is, how would you advise a young fitness entrepreneur, more specifically a woman, to market herself and her brand without degrading herself?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kimmy. And I think that goes to male and female, but I'll speak to it from a female standpoint. Look, there's so many women that are doing things on Instagram or Twitter or whatever that are distasteful, and I think there is a tasteful way to do it. I believe that, if you want to show your body in a tasteful way, show what you're working with, which was probably a bad way to say it, but if you're going to show it in the correct fashion, but you're educating. And so and I'm not talking like a G-string picture and then you put a quote. Like, I don't want to see that shit. No one else does. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things, like if you're bringing value as an entrepreneur, as a fitness entrepreneur to the community, whether it's one person or 100,000 people or 100 million people, that's the ticket. And so, I've had multiple conversations with people that are interested, and I'll say, look, you're really good at what you do. Like, you might be just a supreme star in your specialty in fitness, but no one knows who you are, and you're not able to get paid through doing it. And you could be a pro in bikini, you could be a pro in powerlifting, but if no one knows you because you haven't educated anybody or created any awareness, you can't turn it into a job. And everybody wants it to be their job. If you're in fitness and you do what we do, like I said, when I was 17 years old, I wanted to find a way to lift weights and get paid. I'll be 38 years old in a month. I want to find a way to lift weights and get paid. I think I found a way, but it hasn't changed. You know what I mean? And so at the end of the day, it comes down to is you can be great at what you do, but if you're not teaching people how you've done it before you ever ask them to give you $1, then that's a problem. And I would say one thing that I did naturally, because I was a trainer for a decade previous to ever starting Muscle Farm business, was I gave away a lot of information, and I had lived the life for a decade before I really said anything. And I think that was a big key. I learned off mentors. I did trial and error, and I probably didn't get it all the way right all the time, but I was like, you know what? I know probably more than the guy that's walking in the big box gym. And if I can add value to his life every day, just a little bit, and I do that consistently for 8 years, then when I do have a business like Cory G Fitness and I say, okay, now it's $9 a month, or we have supplements to help with the plans and everything that we're putting together, then they're going to give us a shot. And so all I am looking forward is if I educate you enough and I show my personal brand and I show the way I operate, it's not fake. Like, I'm not fake, because if you follow me on Snapchat, I'm up at 3 now and I'm going to bed at 10. Like, it's not fake. And so I think it's like, if you're real and it's out there and you're adding education and you're doing the right thing by people and you respond like a real freaking human, that you can build a brand of value and then monetize it however you see fit. So, and just be tasteful about it. Hey, look, there's nothing, I'm showing my abs as much as I can because I know it works. The same thing with the ladies are going to do what that means to them. It just has to be tasteful. So that's all.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more. Providing value to your clients and your followers and providing them with great content is really important. And, there's nothing wrong with showing off your hard work, but always keep it classy.
Correct. Absolutely, Kimmy. If you do that and you follow by that, then it's limitless, basically. So great question.
Definitely. All right, John, it's your turn. Your personality is aggressive. Not saying that's a bad thing at all, but
Indeed.
But your presence definitely demands respect. So my question is, how would you advise a young woman to establish respect and equality in the workplace or in a first-time business encounter? Because personally, for me and some of my girlfriends, this is a huge struggle for us. We're all super young, and we're the first person you see when you walk through the door, and people automatically think we're a receptionist. And that's not the case. I'm an accountant. My girlfriend's a real estate agent. Another one's a paralegal. Right. And if that's not your role in the business place, you don't want people to assume that. Like, no right. offense to any girls that do that, but
sure. I mean, that's a fantastic question. I think that's a very applicable question to many people. And here's what I'd say: you as a female, just like me as a male, and I'll draw the parallel shortly, can be your own worst enemy, and that's the first thing you need to wipe out. And what I mean by that is this: you get hired. Primarily, females get hired in an office setting to have a nice face to be greeted by, to make the male businessman more comfortable, right? If you, as a female, if you accept that as your role, don't even fucking talk to me about being an entrepreneur, because you're not. You're a fucking sellout. And all you'll be is a pretty face sitting at a desk for your whole career. So don't even talk to me about being an entrepreneur, right? If you have that opportunity to get in the office because you do have some advantages, okay, you got to do the same thing that I had to do. I don't wear fucking suits, right? I roll the way I roll because that's what I choose to do. So I was never given respect. Like it says on my forearm, you have to go out and you have to take it, right? So how do I take it? How does a female take it? It's the same way, man. You have to know more than that other person about the profession, the subject, the objective on the table. So I'm not telling you to have an attitude. I'm not telling you to be cocky. Nothing like that. I'm telling you to kill with kindness, always respect people, always be moral, but you know what? Always know fucking more. And know it. Know it. Never assume anything. Know it. So the reason I can do what I do, the reason I can have the confidence I have is because I know when the chips are on the fucking table, you're going to lose. You are going to lose. I will beat you. And everybody has the ability to put in the work to get that kind of confidence. So if I was a female, right, there is nothing more powerful in the business world than a female who looks presentable and is an assassin in the boardroom. I've dealt with them. And, like, you're like, oh, shit, she ain't playing. And, like, there is nothing more powerful. So I would say to all you girls who get your foot in the door the easy way, okay, your foot's in the door. Now what you going to do with it? You're going to sit there and
knock
smile
that shit down.
Yeah, you better want to beat people. You better want to compete. And that's how I think you'll find confidence.
Well, I think here's the key takeaway from that, me listening to that passion right there, Kimmy, is that when the opportunity is there, even just a slight bit, you just murder it, basically. and demand respect in a very confident way. And so I think that then that's like, once they have that first interaction like that, then it's just a wrap, and then you got it.
Yeah, they know they can't fucking push you around, right? Because the knowledge, it's not, you don't just demand respect by saying, I demand respect. You demand respect by flexing your knowledge.
By knowing your shit.
Like, they chin check. They're like, oh my God, I'll never do that again to her. Like, she just embarrassed me.
I got one thing to add to that, Kimmy. I think, because I'm coming from the fitness industry, when I would be in the boardroom with so-called like big time, like Wall Street type cats, like they would never give me respect because I'm the guy with abs. Now, what I would say in my head was, I'd have a guy sitting across the table from me that, graduated from Cornell, had this, had that, but they never built a business the size that I built. And so, he's got a little problem with me out the gate. And then on top of that, he doesn't take care of himself. And so what I would say is like, yo, don't be mad at me because I just eat good. Like, I mean, that's just my lifestyle, but I would run into it so much that I would have to flex what I knew about the business, about marketing, about the customer. And so whether they liked me or not, they would have to respect my game because I wasn't just a dude who had abs and tweeted a lot, which is what they fucking thought. And so when I would bring like, yo, by the way, oh yeah, the first X amount of $1 million raised for this company came from me. Oh, and by the way, I'm the one to turn GNC from 3 million to 35. Oh yeah, by the way, my stack on bodybuilding.com sold 2 million by the content that I created. Like, I would drop stuff like that, and then cats would be like, oh, okay. So when you have that opportunity,
and then they step back
and never step absolutely. So just keep that in mind, that flexing with that confidence when it's real because you got the knowledge, that's the neutralizer, right, John? Absolutely.
Not only the neutralizer, it's the step on their throat and finish them, Elizer.
Yeah, Elizer. Kimmy, great job.
You like that?
The question.
Thank you. I'll take that into consideration next time. I'll be one step ahead.
You got it. Well, thanks for the time. You killed it. Can't wait to hear what you got from next week. And some great questions. I think it's very thought-provoking, which is why we got you on the show, Kimmy.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, guys. Well, I'm butting out. See you next week.
See you now. So, John, first of all, those are great I think those are some great takeaways because, look, it's funny because I felt like a chick in that situation, like the same way, which is funny to say, but it's the truth. Right. I mean, you're like, you're just basically, same as you probably feel maybe if you come in and everybody's suited up, they already kind of like prejudge you in a way. I know everybody does that. I mean, that's just human nature. I get it, but you know what I'm saying.
Right, but at the end of the day, you're always going to be the guy who has abs or works out and tweets a lot. That's going to be you. I'm always going to be me. I'm never going to sell that out. You're never going to sell yourself out. So if you want to step, you better be careful.
Johnny, I think it's time for the special guest. And I got to tell you, I'm excited to have my homegirl from The Biggest Loser TV show, Jen Widerstrom, on the phone with us today to go over the 5 things you must do if you want to make it. John, you ready?
Yeah. Okay.
Listen, Cory, I've told you this probably 1,000 times. I was born ready, and for this one, I think I'm like triple ready. So let's go. Let's do this, man.
Jen,
I'm already laughing so hard I can't breathe. I'm triple ready. I was like, whoa. I mean, that's a T-shirt. That's a hashtag, John. Like,
there we go.
Seriously, please send me the gear. Hashtag triple ready.
Triple
my
ready.
God.
Jen, this is Business and Biceps. This is Business and Biceps.
I know, and I'm interested in both, which is why I'm here.
So I think we're going to start off right out the gate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the tone. And, what we want to do is really hear how you go from Jen Widerstrom, I believe from Illinois, to the girl we see on TV, which has been an amazing journey, I'm sure. So we're going to start off with the first point, that you have to go after it. And when I say that to you, Jen, what does that mean? Like in this journey, going after it, like all in.
It's a misconception because I think sometimes when people think go after it, it's like they've got a clear goal, they know the destination, it looks like this, and then I know what I'm going towards. And I think my go after it was extremely vague. I just knew that American Gladiators had been canceled. I've been back in Chicago. I was kind of stuck. It's like, okay, the show's canceled. I don't really want to go back to bartending. I'd been so, already a few years out of college and removed from my degree in sports administration. And I was like, what's next? And I just felt that there was more for me in LA. And I remember my go for it was like, just go. Just try a new city. I remember my folks were like, Jen, you can always come back home. And I think that was a big push from my folks and from my mentors, like through the University of Kansas. They're like, you'll regret it for the rest of your life if you don't go. Now, when I left Chicago, I wasn't thinking, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to LA, and I'm going to get set up, and I'm going to become a personal trainer, and then I'm going to get on The Biggest Loser. I mean, I had none of that was in my view. Right. I just knew I couldn't stay where I was. I had to go forward, and for me, at least, it was a step. Even if I made that decision and it didn't work out, I can always make a new decision, but my go for it had to mean go to LA, take the step, and just start to see for myself what was here or what wasn't here,
Yeah, I think working off of that, one thing that you kind of summed up that I like to live by, at least when it comes to a career path or life decisions, it's kind of becoming at peace with the unknown, because nobody knows their specific path. And if you're at peace with the unknown, you are ready to, like, you move from Chicago to LA. I moved from Chicago to Miami for an opportunity, and that took my life down this path that I could have never, ever predicted. But what
right.
too many people do is they try to, Excel spreadsheet their life, right? At 25, I'm going to be here. At 30, I'm going to be here. The kids come in here. Nah, man, that's not how life works. You have to live life,
People want to know that they can see, feel, and touch where the step is. It's like, where's the next footing? I just need to see it and know it's there, and then I'll be willing to go. And I would, as you just said, the not knowing is why you got to where you are. You just kind of believe it's there, and
right.
kind of bet on yourself and know you can handle whatever is whatever's in that step.
Without a doubt.
What I would say, too, is like that uncomfortable feeling, like we all talk about, right? All of us as trainers, all of us as business people, that you have to be uncomfortable to grow. And, like, honestly, we're basically all Midwest people. So to live in I just moved from one really small town in Ohio to a little bit of a bigger town in Ohio. You guys went from, like, Chicago, which is obviously a bigger city, but Chicago and LA is completely different. Chicago and Miami is completely different. Different people, different setup, different feel. So to go and be that uncomfortable to go live your dream, and I think that's one of the things that I like to tell people. Like, I couldn't stay. Like, I talk about all the time. Like, in my town, there was one guy that owned a gym, but he didn't even make money lifting weights. He still had to have another job. So, like, I didn't even have anybody, like, I had to go, like, somewhere else, just like you did, Jen. Like, you have to go somewhere else for that opportunity. But if you're not willing to, like, you got to just put yourself out there, because, like, your mom gave you great advice, I think. You can always come back home. John could always go back home. I mean, that's the thing. So, like, that's your safety net, right? So, I mean, if somebody's on the edge right now, like, what would your advice be? Would it be just find a place, find a niche, and just, like, make the move? Like, don't overthink it. Is that kind of?
You got to participate every day. You can't just hang back and wait for the perfect storm or perfect lineup of opportunities. Taking those risks create neural pathways of success. Okay, just like we do in the gym, right? We do in the gym. We do curls, we do bench, we do. For me, I'm terrified of running. I ran a mile and stopped, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. This is not about making my ass tighter. It was about trying something that I was terrified of, and I did it. And now I've got a neural pathway of success that says, well, what else could I do? And I'm not saying just in the gym. That means in life. That means asking out a pretty girl. That means saying, you know what, I deserve this job on Biggest Loser, and I'll help you guys with your show if you want to hire me. I can't believe I had the balls to say that. But you've got to start participating and take those steps. Even on, and like, sometimes the big steps seems too much. So you said if someone's like on that cusper, start with easy things. Start with easy things in your day. Start, things that you're nervous about, things that you're not used to, things that it would be a risk for you. Take them. Start small, and you'll get better and better and better as they grow bigger and bigger.
I love it.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to number 2. So, you take that risk, and now it's time to pay your dues. And in my mind, that means if you're trying to be around somebody, that could be working the desk at the gym, that could be getting beside a mentor, that could be, you know, working at the smallest job. Like what did that mean to you when you went to LA and started kind of operating towards this goal that you have currently?
You know, it's so funny that you asked this question because I literally had a conversation yesterday about it. I had a woman that was like, God, why aren't you teaching classes anymore? It was the best. And I was like, you know, and I started thinking, why aren't I teaching right now? And like my schedule with filming and travel, it's like, to me, I have a responsibility to a lot of the patrons to be consistent, to be there. But then it got me kind of thinking. And it was, you know, when people ask that question, I'm like, you got an hour? Because it started 9-10 years ago when I did come to LA and I didn't have the money to be at a gym, so I wanted to work the front desk at a gym so I could have a free membership and take free classes. And then the owner of that gym, Mark Herrera, who's still a good friend of mine at Paul's Fitness Studio, you know, he's like, Jen, you're going to be a great trainer. I go, well, I'm not a trainer though. I don't want to do this. Like, you know, I'm gonna do like maybe modeling or something. And I was still like heels on the ground, but it was day after day, night after night, and showing up and being consistent with those patrons. And, you know, I look back and I would have my rooms full of 30-plus people. But it started with 2 or 3. It started with me saying, oh, what's your name? Cory. Great. Okay, and I'm learning Cory's top speed. And, oh, John. Okay, John, he's got a thing with his right hip, but he's really puts a lot of effort in. And I started to, case by case, start to build my community over years and not begrudgingly going to, you know, each class saying, oh, it's at 6 a.m. and I only have 5 people. It's like, wow, I have 5 people showing up for me at 6 a.m. You know what I mean? Like, I was never, you can't be that disgruntled worker. I don't have a better way to say it. I see a lot of trainers out here feel like kind of dragging ass, showing up with sweats, and didn't feel like putting their contacts in. And, you know, the playlist is the same one from the last 4 weeks. It's like, show up, be excited that even one person shows up, and those are the reps I did. And then it started with clients. I mean, I think everybody on this call has been where you start clients at 5, you're teaching classes throughout the day. I don't get home till 9:30. You know what I mean? Like at night, you just put in the reps. And I think you talk about paying your dues. I mean, that's what it's about, because I didn't just like fall into The Biggest Loser. This was years of opportunities and unique cases. Every single individual in my life that I've worked with in a group class setting, in a training setting, working with other trainers, Cory, even knowing you've taught me something. I have gained and grown from you. And that is what has shaped me for now. And I think that's why paying your dues is so important, because I could not get here without every single person in my life. You know, you cannot.
I think that is immensely important, because what I believe we're seeing in our society is people get these messages. They see things on TV. They see people driving cars. They see people living a certain lifestyle, and they want it, and they want it now. And the ego enters into the equation, and when it's time to sweep the floor so you could maybe become an assistant floor manager, to maybe become a manager at McDonald's. Like, everyone thinks, dude, I'm not sweeping the floor. I'm better. No, dude, you're not better than that. You're better than that when the free market tells you you're better than that. So it's like, yeah, we all have these unique journeys, and mine came through the fight game. And I remember, you know, I remember specifically talking to my first UFC client, Clay Guida, 11 years ago, and I built a multi-million-dollar business by asking him, hey, you don't need to sign any contract with me. Will you just let me use your name and call people and try to get you sponsorships? And he's like, yeah, dude, why wouldn't I let you do that? So that's me paying my dues, and I have brought in so many people to do similar things, and they're like, that's too hard. Like, I gotta
people don't feel like working. They're like, what? I've got to do this every day?
Yeah, exactly.
But and the dues don't stop. Like, I'm still paying my dues. I think that what I've done to get to where I am, but it's really easy to be like, well, I'm here now, I'm done, right? But it's like, if you think about it, great comparison is like myself and Jillian Michaels, because we both shared the same job at one point, you know? And when I feel like I'm like, I'm ready for the next step, I'm ready for more, I should be doing more, I should be getting more opportunities. Whenever I start to get that itch, I like Google. I'm like, okay, you know, or I ask Siri a lot. I go, Siri, how old was Jillian Michaels when she started Biggest Loser? You know, she was 30 years old. That was 12, 13 years ago. She's not just done something for a few years and, oops, I'm on the cover of magazines. You know, regardless if you like her tactics or not, she is someone that continues to work day after day, and she's made a name for herself and has paid her dues. And that's what I look at myself after, 5 minutes of being in the game? I have dues to pay in order to go up level after level. So it's like I've done this game with The Rock. I'm like, you know, when I think about what was his turning point, or like Sandra Bullock, like an actress I really like, you know, ask them when they were like Sandra Bullock, Siri, how old was Sandra Bullock in the movie Speed? You know, or how old was The Rock in The Rundown? And I'm like, wow, and that was 10 years ago. People, like, they don't just fall out of the sky and opportunities happen to them. They have worked day in and day out and continue to build the lives that they're proud of, that people just think, like, oops, I want that, so can I just post some Instagram pictures and can I get that? You know what I mean? I mean, it's not an accident. So, I don't know, that's my little tactic if you ever feel like you're getting too big for your britches. Like, Siri, a hero of yours, and be like, how old will they when they blah, blah, blah? It'll knock your socks off.
I'm going to be blowing up Siri after that point.
Dude,
that's great, Jen.
Siri, where you at?
I love that takeaway.
Seriously?
You know,
go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, even when we were at the Reebok Summit, Cory, like, it was such a fun moment. One of my favorite moments of that entire week was when BJ Gador, you know, fitness director for Men's Health, was up there talking and said how he remembered this had to have been like at least 10 years ago, and you hired him as like a regional manager.
Online trainer.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, these two young bucks, just passionate about fitness, passionate about people, and trying to find a way to collaborate to make big things happen. And now look where you are in your careers, and look what you've accomplished, and look where you're still going. I mean, to me, like, you know, it's overnight success. You know, it takes about a decade. You know
that's what I was going to say. So a lot of people used to ask me when Muscle Farm is at its height, I was like, look, I was a trainer and owned my own business for 10 years before the Muscle Farm opportunity even came my direction. And it was like, I always say, like, my rap album didn't go platinum overnight. Like, those guys even been grinding out of the trucks for 10 years plus. So it's just a common denominator that to achieve the skills and the confidence to do what we're going to talk about next is you got to put your time in, and you're not above it. And like you said, at each level, there's a different set of dues. The dues you're paying right now is to get to that Jillian type of level, like you're saying, like all the books, all that. But you're putting that work in, and we're doing the same thing in our respective businesses. So there's some really great takeaways. I really like the Siri one though; it's solid. Right.
You're gonna catch yourself asking her questions. I can't wait to hear who you ask her about.
That's so good. All right. So one thing I heard you talk about was that you had the balls to say what you said to those producers, and that comes up on our next point, which is, when it's time, you have to deliver. Like in that moment, Jen, you had to say something like that to get this opportunity. Talk about what's going through your mind. Is it a confidence thing? Was it premeditated, or it just happened because you was like, I'm here and I'm getting this?
The biggest game changer in my career was me finally owning my voice and who I am, and not being rude, but not being apologetic for it. Being like, you know what, whether this happens or not, I'm okay because I know the life that I've built and I'm proud of it, and this is who I am. I almost treated it like a date. Like if I go on a date with a guy and, you know, if I'm really into him but he's not into me, it's like, buddy, just like, lose my number. It's okay. I'm going to be okay if you don't want to go out again. Well, you know, and what was ironic is, you know, Loser brought me in about 3 years earlier when Jillian left a separate time. And it was actually the year they brought Anna Kournikova on. And it was down to me, myself, Anna Kournikova, a few other women. And I vividly remember, I mean, I was in my I think it was like 27, 28. And I got into the very final tier of interviews. They brought me to the ranch. I've got, you know, these you know, quote unquote contestants come in. You have to basically do a mock workout and train them and talk to them and do this whole thing. And let me tell you, I was doing what I thought they wanted to see versus just doing Jen. And I remember I had my arms like were crossed. And I was like, are you guys ready? And I literally, it's like in old school where when Frank gives that speech and he blacks out. Like I literally blacked out. I have no idea what I did for the 20 minutes. And then they were asking me questions and I just was kind of bullshitting. And, I was like, and I still had me. I still had my content. I didn't own it. I just did what I thought they wanted. Just like, again, being on a date and trying to be pleasing. And whereas this last time around, I was in a very different headspace. I'm like, I know who I am. I've done a lot of great work with a lot of great people. I've been lucky enough to partner with brands like Muscle and Fitness and Men's and Women's Health. And it really gave me confidence in knowing that, like, I have a voice, I have an opinion, and it means something. And so this last time around, which now is obviously like 2-3 years ago, I just remember them, bringing me in and giving me, two strangers I'd never met before, because, again, the mock audition, this was the whole thing. It was like deja vu. And they're like, okay, you've got 15 minutes. I'm like, wait, stop. I've got 15 minutes to meet these folks, learn the mechanics of their body, and, like, as a trainer, like, I have to see you move. I have to know where your limitations are. I have to see how your body reacts before I throw you into some, like, crazy workout. And I'm like, so I got to, like, learn these people, crank them through a workout, create an emotional connection, and I don't know, guys. I was like, I'll do what I can. And that's what I said to the producers. I was like, I'll do what I can. I don't know. And I had, I ended up kind of having a great time. They said I was done. I'm like, I need 10 more minutes. I didn't ask for it. I took it. I took the time because this is what was right. And I put the people first. I made it about those two individuals, and I needed them to see that this was about them for me, not about the show for me. And so I remember we go through it all. And at the end, they kind of do like the post, interview, and they were kind of asking me questions that kind of tripped me up. They're like, well, why did you choose that exercise, or why did you give that guy more rest? And I was like, hey, man, I just created trust with my client. These are the reasons I did these things. And again, not rude, not arrogant. I just knew what I was doing, and it changed everything. And when I was finally in the offices, and I was like, guys, listen, I don't have an agent. I don't have a lawyer. I'm not out there trying to get on TV. I love doing this. But if you want help with your show, I'll help you. And I think that, going to the point of, like, what was the word? You actually, Cory, what did you say? How did you say it? Showing up or showing? It's like delivering. To me, it's that delivering when it's time, that gamer mentality. Exactly. I just was like, this, I'm like, this is what it is. And I think I was so convicted, and I gave them confidence in me because I was so sure of myself. Not arrogant, but just sure. And why was I sure? Because I went for it and I paid the dues. Like, your system is perfect because this is it. I was only prepared because I'd done the years of work. And, when I got the job, the funny part is, like, and it lends to this point as well, it was almost like I've been petitioning for, like, the New York Marathon. You have to, like, go through a lottery, and then not everybody gets picked. And I was like, oh, my God, my number got picked. I actually got to run this thing now. And so when I got picked for the show, I was like, oh, my God, you know what? I got to walk this walk now. I talked it. Let's do it. And that was part B of my story. It's like getting in the door was one thing. And I just showed up every day, and I lived I lived my words. You know what I mean? Very few people follow their word, follow through on what they say. Exactly. And I'm like, how do I want to be remembered? What is my reputation? And I gave up being perfect. I gave up my workout programming being perfect. I gave up if I was going through rounds and I actually definitely skipped an exercise. That is not the content of who my character is. It is how I move them through that programming. It's who I am in conversations while the cameras are off and on. That's what mattered to me, and it changed everything. It was more about really stepping up and executing the way I said I could and believing I could, and then just doing it. People get in their own way. It's like, it's gooyah. Get out of your own way, man. Just execute.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They get in their own way, and I believe it's kind of an equation, right? People, there are people who constantly, there's no question, they deliver when everything is on the line, and then you got to ask yourself why. Why is there some people who can always deliver and then others who struggle so severely with it? And over time, I view it kind of as an equation, right? You have to, there's no question, you have to 100% be authentic, number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, you have to 100% know your fucking shit. Okay. Number 2, you have to know it inside and out, because that way, when you're dealing with people and it is game time, you do not need to think. It is like muscle memory. You react, and you're such a master at it that they're like, oh, damn. And then if you add passion into that mix, you are like a goddamn hurricane that just wiped everybody out. And from my experience, they're so taken aback that it's like they don't even want to challenge you because you just step to them so hard, but respectfully. And to me, it's like I live by this, right? If you don't believe in you, why should anyone else?
It's so true.
Down to.
But the other component, too, is I'm not afraid to fall anymore. I'm not afraid to fall. Because, I just go for it. And if I fall short on something, like I said, I forget. That was the biggest key. Trying to be perfect is not, you're holding on too tight. You got to just go for it. I fall down, I get back up. The more I fall, the more I realize falling is not so bad, because I learned just as much or more from that than I do from having a perfect series. So it's one of those things that, it's you got to bring it back to Arnold. Sorry, it's like he's like, I'm not afraid of fainting in the gym. I'm not afraid of falling over. Well, that's why his development was so crazy, because he pushed to a limit where he was not afraid of that. It is the same thing in your career and who you are. And there are times I've looked back and I've made mistakes, or I've had failures, or moments could have gone better, and I go, okay, where would I have redirected my energy? What word would I have used? Maybe I talked too much, and maybe I should just shut up and let them talk. Listen to me on this call. I could be very abrasive and bulldozing. I was like, you got to
killing it. Well, come on.
That's the thing, and that's where it's okay, because that's what shaped who I am and what shaped me being the best at this that I am to this date, because I'm not afraid of making mistakes. That's it. And a lot of times people you ask why do people, can they do it every time and people can't? Because the bottom line, and this gets into our psyche, people are, it's like, how do I say it? It's like more like, if I really go for it and I fail, what does that say about me? What does that reveal about me?
That says you have balls and you're going to eventually succeed.
We know that because we fail and get up every day, and we don't give a shit anymore. But people are really nervous to fail, because does it affect my worth? No. Should you be shameful? No. But that is what's ingrained. So that's the thing. It's like they don't really try, because then they can't really fail, and that's kind of why. And that's the pattern I'm trying to shake up in our community, and our in our people, and not just like fitness, but just like people. It's like, guys, you're okay. Nothing bad will happen.
They don't want to be vulnerable. I think that's what you're saying, basically, is when you put yourself out there. Like, when I'm in that, and there's a couple moments I've had like this, but like I'm in that meeting with Arnold, and it's time to speak, and whatever I say is so impactful to maybe in my entire career. So like if I'm not real, like, no, here's this, this is the way we do it. We can get on camera, do it this way. I want to get in your office and cut up the video and take the pumping. Like, I didn't say like I'd like to do it. I said I'm going to do it. Like, and I was so prepared in that moment because I'd studied all of it for so many years. Or like when I'm getting ready to go on camera with Tiger, and the lady that's running the PR stuff, she's like, "Are you nervous?" I'm like, no, because I've been waiting my whole life to ask Tiger Woods these questions. Like, put me in, coach. Like,
right.
Like when I walked up, it's like I acted like me. I was like, "What's up, homie? Like, how are we doing?" And he's like, "Dude, blah blah blah. I want to ask you about this workout, and how's Arnold? Was he still training? And what's up with your diet?" Like, Tiger's asking me questions. I'm like,
because you guys are peers. Because you guys both get it. Yes. Yes,
it was so cool, Jen, because I was like, if you're the one that's puckering up, like I'm walking up there like I got a broomstick on my butt, like, man, I'm so nervous. Like, so, and if he didn't like the way I came at him, then I would just regroup real quick and then do it. But I just said, you know what, if he doesn't like Cory, then that might be a problem. But both of them did, and I was able to work with them. But in that moment, or just like when you're talking to that producer, like you were willing to say, take it or leave it, this is Jen. And guess what? They took it.
But again, it's true. But like, here's the thing: it goes back to dating again. If I put on a face that's not who I am, and then I start dating a guy, I mean, it's a great comparison, because it's like, do I really want to be a fake person for the rest of my life? No. Do I want to?
Right. In that situation, it's inevitable that it will blow up. Even if you impress him and he likes you for being the fake you, it is inevitable it will not work. So that's why
exactly.
Always be you.
Exactly.
John always tells me, Jen, this is a great takeaway. like we've been in some really big influential business meetings since we've had this consulting business, and he's checked some people in some high positions with some things that were sketchy that probably a lot of people wouldn't say to them, like at their position. But you know what he always says? Because I knew it was the truth, they would get it. And every time they'd go, you know what? People don't really ever talk to us like that, but you're right.
You know, that's the thing. Trust me, people want to hear what they want to hear, but they're going to respect you if you tell them the truth.
Exactly.
That's just it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. All right, so I know you got to run, so we got a couple more.
Okay.
Grow constantly. So you're on top at this game right now. You're talking about you're still paying your dues. You're still doing development. Tell me what that means to you in your current situation of TV land and all this travel. And how are you still growing as a professional, Jen?
Gosh, man, I just feel like every day I'm in first grade. And I tell my team, from my PR to my literary agent, I'm like, you got to remember, I might be in preschool with this book stuff, because it's my first one. But every day there's something. I know what I know, and you guys know what you know. But there's always more to learn. And if we get to a point where we feel like we've got it all, we know it all, we have the answers, I feel like I've stopped furthering myself as an effective trainer and an effective human. And that's not where I want, because I think that the one thing that we know is true, right? I think it's the quote. I can't remember what it says, but like the change it will occur. And it's like, so how do you want to evolve, or do you just want to continue to be stagnant and fool yourself into changing? You know what I mean? And you're going to feel like the dust settle if you're not moving and changing. So it's like, I feel like in a sense, it's my growing comes from conversations like this one. When I say networking, I don't mean like getting people's business cards and collaborating on deals. I mean really meeting people, putting yourself in vulnerable positions. Like I do a private Pilates session every single week. It humbles me. Writing my book, learning the system, knowing what works, putting my ideas out there, being willing to accept feedback on those ideas. It's constant, but it's so much. It's tough because, as I answer your question, I'm kind of like, oh, there's so many things. So much of my growth, yes, it's in my business, but it's as a human. I'm just constantly allowing myself to be out there, ask questions. I love being the teacher, but being a student has done more for me than anything else. So,
wow.
That's. I guess it's
I think we're all students.
That's a great. That is the answer.
We should be for our whole lives, because it's like we all provide value to people in one way or another. And how are we going to continue to provide value to people in one way or another if we do not up our game, if we do not expand our mind, if we don't evolve our thinking, if we don't read more, it's impossible, right? So our brands, our products, our services, they're going to flame out, dude. Like you need to keep bringing the heat every day. And the way to do that is to look in the mirror. You got to self-assess. You got to say, listen, I'm not shit. Like, I ain't shit. Like, I respect myself, but, like, I got to up my game. Like, I got to up my game until I hang it up. And I think too many people, they think, oh, I made it. And the way I look at it is, dude, no one makes it. You don't make it because the bottom can fall out any motherfucking day. Any day. You don't make it.
That's for sure.
Well, Arnold made it, okay? He made it. He can hang it up right now and he can be like, hey, I'm good. But that's
right.
But even he doesn't. I was around the first schedule. It's absurd.
But that's the misconception. People think that he doesn't have hard days. People think that we don't. Part of the other thing, yes, show up. But that growth, my greatest growth is when I go through the toughest times. I have a buddy of mine. It's a great example. He's a motivational speaker, goes on tours with like Justin Timberlake to, the Toronto Raptors, and he has cerebral palsy. And he's a motivational speaker, and yet he's had a really tough summer because he's just gotten more sick, and the doctors aren't sure what's going on, and he's been really down. And and I'm like, buddy, this is the source of how you help. How do you evolve out of this space? How do you mentally come through it? Make these notes in your head. What thoughts come and go? What things bring you up? What things bring you down? The reason why the best connectors in the world are so good at it is because they've been there. They live there. Why is Oprah so good at doing all her stuff? Because she's got dark places too, and she knows how to navigate them. And that's the kind of growth that I'm talking about. If you've got to be willing to, like you said, look in the mirror, but really self-assess what's going good, what's going bad, what am I being accountable for, what am I trying to mask and avoid. Those are the things that start to bring really great questions to the surface. I'm not saying you got to have perfect answers. I'm definitely not saying do it by yourself because I'm only here because of the people that are in my life. But that's where the growth comes. Real, true self assessment, true authenticity, as you said earlier. It makes a tremendous difference. Tremendous.
I would say through every adversity, I've always kind of found that there's a blessing on the other side if you can just get through it.
Yes.
Like that seems to me that's the test. Okay, well, this is hard. Well, when we're building businesses and we're building a body, we're helping build up people, there's always going to be a roadblock, and it's all the solution-based. John told me, look, there's always a solution. There's a wall. Do we dig under the wall? Do we climb over the wall? Do we go around the wall? Do we run through the wall?
Mm-hmm.
That's
through the wall.
Right. John likes to run through the wall. All right. Last point, how do you give back? How good does it feel? What things do you like to do? And then we'll let you get out of here.
Wow. This is a big one. I actually think this might be as much as my focus as it is as the career itself, because as I kind of just said, I don't want to speak for anybody. I know I am not here without the people in my life. That includes like the barista that makes my coffee every other day at Starbucks. That includes there's a girl that goes to my CrossFit gym that works out alongside me, and I don't really know her name. And she always is there and pushes me and cheers to me. Like to the people that are my family, to the people like Cory that I've known you for a year. Like, a year, or are we under a year now? Are we at 6 months?
Yeah, we met. Yeah, probably 6-8 months.
In only 6 months that you've impacted me greatly, to the people I've known since I was in 6th grade, and I've known them since I was 11. And Jenny, it really, the paying it forward comes in form of, there's simple logistical stuff. Like I help a lot of trainers build their business. I consult. I have a lot of people call me or connect me with trainers that don't know how to get started, what makes sense, what helps. People that are just getting started, and maybe if it's not training, just in kind of like moving to LA or getting started in other cities. Sometimes I just need someone to say, hey, you're on track, what you're feeling is normal and you're okay. A lot of it's done in social media. I think that as exhausting as social media can be for me, it's opened up just a world of people that have really been impacted by me. And it's like I didn't know how. I'm like, how could they possibly be so impacted by me? But, I taught a class, and this mother had driven her 14-year-old daughter up to take my class, and she cried to me and said, you'll never know what a difference you made for my daughter. She's a wallflower. She was very self-conscious, and she found your Instagram account, and she's like, you helped my daughter in a way a mother couldn't. And I was like, oh, my God. That's the way you pay it forward, by sharing, by being present, by being real. And I think that, in the end of the day, we're all meant to be here and take care of each other. And I've been very fortunate to be in a position of, in the public eye, to really make a greater impact because of the platform. And there are a lot of people that don't take it as seriously as I do. Maybe, there's some actors who are like, well, I didn't ask for this. This is just my job. The fact that I'm famous, it's just, consequential. It's like, to me, as a fitness professional, it's my responsibility to not just set a good example, but to be there, to be consistent, to live my word, and to really hear people. Because at the end of the day, we all just want to be seen and heard. And with a planet of how many billion people, we all feel very alone. And paying it forward, in my mind, is trying to make the world feel a little bit closer and a little bit smaller, and know that we're all connected, that we're all same, and how people are feeling is normal, and that I got their back. So like I said, there's so many tiers. I kind of listen to myself ramble. I'm like, oh God, these answers are kind of kooky, but no. It's really all those levels. It's sitting down and not to be, point out another ambassador of ours at Reebok, it was sitting with Colleen Foch, who just missed the CrossFit Games, and she ended up coming down from San Fran, and we sat and we watched some of the final day together, and she just was like, just thanks for being here. That's hard to just miss it. That's paying forward. Am I helping her increase her snatch? No, she's Superwoman. But,
she is.
but just sitting there, and she's another high-level person. I'm just being there for one another. That's how you pay it forward. And the other thing I'll say before I let you guys jump in at me, because I know I'm rambling still, you don't have to be a me. You don't have to be an Oprah or The Rock to pay it forward. You can be exactly who you are and impact people greatly. And it's a power that people just overlook for some peculiar reason. I don't know why they just get dismissive of their ability to have an impact on someone by saying hello, by giving a hug, like I said, the girl in my class, I don't know her name, and she's nice to me. That changes my world when she does that. And she probably doesn't even know it. So, you don't have to be on television and you don't have to have a podcast to make a difference. You being exactly who you are does that for people. And I just, I want to, smack that into people.
Sure.
Cor, I gotta give you props on this because, as you know, when we became partners, you kind of pushed me to get onto social because I obviously wasn't on social for personal reasons. It was businesses and this and that. But once I started to get a little bit active on social, I believe that we all have severe wounds personally, and if we can be honest with ourselves and come to terms with those, I think, Cory, you pushing me on the social media gave me the ability to deal with the fact of how addicted I was to painkillers in the past, and now what I'm spending as much time as I possibly can do is having individuals reach out to me, getting on the phone with their parents, and literally trying to save a life. And if I did not open up and go on social media and let people know that, hey man, dude, I'll give you my fucking personal number. It's not like that. Let's figure this shit out. So I thank you for that, Cor, because for me, you can make all the money in the world, dude. That feeling I get when I hang up that phone and the mother's crying, that makes my fucking year. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It makes it all worth. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jen.
No. It just is. It's crazy how you say that, and I'm blown away by the story, and I'm not surprised at all to hear about Cory's support for you and of you. But this happens everywhere, but not a lot of people talk about it. It's this is. It's like, are we not supposed to express when there's shit going on? That's much more real than having a perfect thing and having everything set up nice and neat. I mean, I even had a contestant this last season. His name's Colby Wright, and his father committed suicide when he was much younger. And a few weeks after, his younger brother died in a freak car accident. And there's a lot of hardship in his life, but he's been so positive, and he's like, sometimes I drag my feet, but I'm always dragging them in the right direction. And I learned more from that kid than anybody I've had in either season. And it was interesting because he got, a lot on social media again that connects us. And I know, John, you were saying some people kind of reached out to you for the help with the painkillers. And the man reached out and wrote this letter to Colby saying he had everything planned to kill himself, it was his last night with his kids and his wife, and the next day he was doing it and saw the episode was Colby, just random. And the man didn't do it because of Colby's story, because he's,
because he felt so alone. That's what happened.
Yes, exactly.
He alone and isolated. Who can I talk to? Everyone's going to judge me. And then he saw the story, and then he's like, oh my God, I'm not alone. Not
alone. And look at the impact. So that's why, I know this is, biceps in business or business and biceps until now. I'm messing up your title. But isn't it so much more than that? It
always is, Jen.
Talking about this is what the shit we're after right here.
This is the real stuff, girl. That's what's funny is like we joke around, we're peaking, we're Business and Biceps, but at the end of the day, like we bring on real people, real guests, and this is what happens.
We got to go
because we got to go deep because that's how it's going to change. The thousands of listeners that will see this on our social media, they're going to get some real takeaways from this, Jen. And that's the thing. Like for me, the give back thing is the 19-year. I got this kid that's a senior in high school that is on, a member on my website. He drives 3 hours to come to the gym. He was like, can I get 10 minutes of your time? He's like, I am going to own a gym while I'm in high school. How do I do it? And I could tell he was so serious. So I was like, I would do this, I would do this, do this. This kid has found a barn in his little town. Like he is going to be, I was like, dude, if you're the kid in high school that owns the gym, everybody's going to come to it. Because everybody's going to want to support you. Think of this? Oh, it's amazing. So I was like, so that's like, so when a kid can reach out and get to me, and I feel like because we're all humble on, like we will go back when our schedule, leans itself to go and say, hey, I can help you. Like if they're persistent enough, I'm going to give them the time because look, like if you're a go-getter, that's what I want to see. The guy that says, man, I'm going to come check out your gym sometime and he lives 20 minutes away and you never see him. I don't want that guy. I want the kid that drove from Alabama to come pay $10 to be in the gym the same time as me. Like that's the guy I'm going to help. So I think that we all have our own version of what that means, and it's important in the process because when you're blessed as we all are, all the things that we've went through, you have to give back because there's the next generation of people that want to do what we've done and maybe even further than that. And that's what it's really, truly all about is continuing that process. So I got to say, Jen, you killed it, girl. I know you got to go. You're filming. You're Hollywood. We got to get you out of here. But
shut up.
It was amazing to have you on. I've really enjoyed your friendship, and it's just been really cool hearing more about your story. And I mean, I'm pumped to continue to get to know more about you and for us to train together and all those good things. So
yeah, thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. Great insight, and I think our listeners are going to take a lot from it. So thank you.
That's my hope. You fellas, you've been a pleasure. Thank you for laughing at my jokes, and thank you for being so nice to me. As a middle child, I deeply appreciate it.
You're awesome. All right, have a great day, Jen. Thank you.
Okay, boys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Johnny, listen.
Yo.
Listen, I'm telling you, dude, 2 weeks, actually 3 weeks in a row from TJ to ET to Jen Widerstrom from The Biggest Loser. Like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, listen, if you're listening to Business and Biceps right now, you need to tweet Jen. You need to tweet ET. You need to tell them, like, yo, thanks for coming on the show. Like, it was awesome. Like, that's what I want to hear from you guys, right?
Yeah. Dude, absolutely. And I put it to you like this, right? The show is called Business and Biceps, right? So biceps implicating fitness. Obviously, The Biggest Loser is the most influential piece of media probably in fitness history outside of pumping iron, okay?
Agreed.
And she is the boss of it. And she climbed and clawed and did everything she had to do and took the tough path, because there is no easy path, to get there. And she just broke it down for all you guys that want to take that same path to get to that mountaintop. And I think when you hear it from somebody that you watch on TV at the pinnacle, man. Come on. We're trying to bring you value, and that's why the podcast can give me some.
So, John, here's the deal. I need everybody right now. Listen, the last couple episodes have just murdered it. You've got to share it with your friends. You've got to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, on SoundCloud. Like, let people know about the show because we are bringing crazy value. And it's just like every week I learn so much. I just really want to shout out to John, to State and Liberty Clothing, to maxeffortmuscle.com coming soon. Sign up for the newsletter. That's key. And then obviously Reebok's been supporting us forever. So you got to be more human. And dude, I'm telling you, like I'm on fire when I'm done doing these things, John. I'm so excited. Like I'm motivated, John.
Well, because we're getting insight from people who don't talk about it. They're about it. Right? They live it. So as we talk about like growing, right, on our path, people like Jen help us grow because they have amazing insight, and hopefully we can trade that off to other people as well. And that's the beauty of what I believe our community is. And the one thing I want to say is this, guys. I don't know about you, but I love to be the guy that like tells my friend like, hey man, have you seen that movie or have you seen that TV show? Like that show is dope as hell, but like is on the come up. Man, that's what this podcast is. So you got to be that guy or that girl or that girl.
The hype is real, and I'm going to close with this. You said the people that come on the podcast show, they're about it. I'm going to say, don't tweet about it, John. Be about it. The podcast can be
Bring it back. Now double your money and make it stack. On to the next one. On to the next. On to the